from communication that I've had with his dad, is that he's going to be in Paris and playing. So I think that's great news. I think it's very important that he plays there. Whether he has a good result or not is probably unlikely given the surface and the circumstances, but he needs to keep playing coming into the grass court season. That's where he's played some great tennis before, quarters of Wimbledon, and if you don't get that little bit of match play and you're not around the scene, it's hard to get the momentum going. So the fact that he's going to be in Paris for me is fantastic. It's been a difficult year for her. The calf injury is the thing that's halted her. Other than that, she's been striking the ball well. She's actually looking fit and relaxed. But she is a sort of player that needs a lot of matches under her belt and plays with momentum. So she has had a stop-start season. Last week in Rome was a really good result, couple of solid wins, almost took out Azarenka, who probably is her worst player on tour. She just doesn't do well against that matchup. So if the draw's kind to her and she can get into the tournament and then get one of the top players that she does play well against, she can still be in a semi-final or even win a major again. She's certainly in the top 4 players to walk away with that championship, in my view. I'm incredibly excited about our 2 wildcards in the main draw, the youth aspect, and people in Australia have talked about where we're going with our players. Ash Barty and Nick Kyrgios, both juniors with a wildcard into the main draw. They've earned it. That's the thing, which is great. Ash is on a very steady rise to the top, in my view. She's a fabulous doubles player, Australian Open runner-up already at such a young age. If she can get a decent draw, she will win a round, and she is certainly very close to knocking off some of the big guns in women's tennis. She's beat Schiavone at the Hopman Cup, took a set off Sabulkova at the Australian Open. She can really go well. Then Nick Kyrgios, he's a great talent to watch. Number 1 junior in the world, Australian Open junior champion, and he's got a bit of spark about him. He's got a big game, big serve, big forehand, and he's not scared and loves the occasion. So I'm very excited to see how he does. I don't expect him to do super well. This is the experience that he needs to start to believe that he can play at that level, and we've put him there because we think he can. Look, I think for me that the men, you've got to look at Djokovic. I think he's had a very steady season with lots of good wins. Beating Nadal on clay Monte Carlo is huge for him. Mentally, he now knows he can do it. Rafa's comeback's been extraordinary, but I always wonder whether he plays too much leading into the French and starts to just maybe lose a little bit in the tank. And given how long he's had off the tour, I think it might have been an idea to drop 1 or 2 tournaments that he has played, considering he kept winning them. And I look at Roger and I start to think about Roger and say, well, you know, he's not the force to be reckoned with that he was. This year's been pretty disappointing for him, and Murray's gone. So you look at the final, it's got to be Djokovic-Nadal, I would think.